Welcome back, everybody. My name's A Prater 54, aka Adam, coach of the McChesney Park Slowpokes, and today I bring you my draft analysis for Season 11 of Ultra Ball Division of LET, League of Extraordinary Trainers. Last time I played here, I had to drop due to unfortunate health circumstances, so I only played 3 games. It was a rather hard time of my life. So it's glad to see I'm welcome back, and I look forward to this season. Uh, LET runs things a little bit differently than most leagues. There are certain mons that are banned from Terra, and that would be Dragapult, Iron Bundle, Iron Valiant, Landorus Incarnate with Sheer Force Legal, Palafin, Spectre, Annihilate, Baxcalibur, Chi-Yu, Roaring Moon, Dragonite, Greninja with Battle Bond Legal, Hoopa Unbound, Espathra, Volcarona, and Regieleki. We also have Terra Captains. You can have up to 3 with Open Terra. Your budget is 150. Whatever your tier value is half the points to be a captain, but you only get 150. You can only have one captain from tier and B tier. The rest have to be subpar mons, which I love having 2 low tier captains. This league only Moody, Sandvale, and Snowcloak are banned, but you have um, evasion moves banned, acupressure, metronome, one-hit KO moves. There's also a slight restriction with sleep claws. Unlike some leagues that have allowed Dire Claw spam and Relic Song spam, not breaking sleep claws, if a mon is already put to sleep by you and you click Dire Claw or Relic Song, it is immediate DQ. You lose the game. Granted, that is getting mixed feelings from people. Some people like it, some people hate it. I'm indifferent. And either way, it's not going to be that big of an issue. And we found an example from PPL. Some leagues do not state that you have to bring 6 Pokemon to the match. So, based off that example that Mephisto did, he brought 5 Pokemon, which wasn't a rule break. LET, you were required to bring all 6. And only your captains can terrestrialize. But with that being said, we were given 1,000 points. The tiers go like this. We have S tier all the way down to E. S tier, all of the mons there can't Terra. A plus, only a select few can Terra. And then A downwards are eligible to Terra unless they are restricted. But the A and B tier, you can only have 1 captain from there. So a majority of your captains are going to be C plus, C, D, and E. But when you select them as a captain, the value that you see on your screen, cut that in half for each one. If it's below 150, you're good to go. If you want 2 strong captains, you can do that. If you just want 3 captains, you can mix the points up. And without further ado, round 1. I was pick number 5. There's 12 people in this division. I was between Jurassic Park and my good friend Nico Ryan, who hopefully I did not snipe too badly. I know 2 times throughout the draft I sniped him, and then Jurassic Park got me 3 times in a row. Every time he was before me, he grabbed something I was looking at, which was really freaking me out. But pick number 1, I got Sneasler. I don't care about the Dire Claw nerf whatsoever because Poison Jab and Gunk Shot do a lot more, and I prefer running the Poison Touch ability and U-turn, fake out pivot, so on and so forth. And yeah, overall, incredibly good mon. Gets access to T-spikes, fake out, feint. Gets access to fire punch, close combat, dire claw, all the poison stab. I believe it gets access to drain punch as well. I'm not 100% sure. This is my second time using this mon. But it gets switcheroo, which can give my opponent an item. Gets access to On Burden, which doubles its speed when it's in. Granted, I could have made this a Terra Captain. I opted not to because then it would mean I'd have to do like 260 point mons, because this would be 90 points to Terra. And then I'd be stuck with C and D tier mons as Terra, which wasn't too thrilled about. So I wanted to create balance. So this is not going to be a captain. You will see the Terra Orb ball pop up to whatever is a captain is though. But with this being 120 speed and good pivot, good physical offense, decent support, able to shatter screens, so on and so forth, and it even has access to Toxic to poison something before it dies, it was worth the invest. Get rid of its items, Sword Stance, and then Acrobatics, you're on a roll. But that being said, we're going to move on into pick number 2. This mon I ended up sniping from Nico, because this is what Nico wanted round 1, and he was asking if I could potentially change it, but I don't know if we were allowed, so we'll see what happens. Pick number 2, I got Zoroark Hisui. Let's play Pop Goes the Weasel. We have a Shadow Fox, and we have a Weasel Man. One's gonna be real and one's gonna be fake. If I run On Burden, I can sell the U-turn with Sneasler and be able to damage pivot. The U-turn damage would give it away that it is not a Sneasler, because Zoroark's going to be special, so U-turn's not going to do as much as what it would with Sneasler, so that's kind of a drawback. But this only being weak to Dark is phenomenal, and Sneasler resists Dark. This is 110 speed tier, which is really good for a fast special attacker, even though it's frail. But this gets access to Icy Wind, Will-O-Wisps, gets access to Bitter Malice, which lowers my opponent's attack. Hyper Voice is Stab. So is Shadow Ball and Bitter Malice, so that hits pretty hard this gen, because you need Rock types or Steel types, I believe, to resist normal, and you need Dark types to resist Ghost, and normal types to be immune. Granted, this gets hard-walled by some normal types, but this also can just launch off a Focus Blast and obliterate them. This gets access to Flamethrower, Sludge Bomb, Grass Knot. You can just be surprise tactic with this. Your opponent may think they're safe, and you just blow them back. This also gets access to Trick, and Shadow Sneak, and Sword Stance, and I believe it maintained knockoff. I'd have to double check that, but if it does, knockoff is incredibly valuable this gen, and I look forward to using the mon. Next, we have Sylveon. Hey, so my opponent's going to have to second guess, because if I bring Zoroark, they don't know if this is Sylveon, and they do not know if it's Zoroark, because they both get Hyper Voice. The only thing that is going to be a giveaway is when I click Hyper Voice and it does damage to a Ghost type switching in. So, that being said, because Pixelate changes it to Fairy type, that Ghost is going to take some hits. This gets access to Trailblaze, Claw Mine, both screens. Gets access to Wish, Protect, Baton Pass for momentum, which I have to do Dry Pass only. I don't think it stated anything about Wish passing, but I'll ask about that. If Wish passing is also banned, then so be it. But this being a natural Spadef tank and able to just hammer away with Psychic, Psy-Shock, gets access to Terra Blast, Hyper Voice, you name it, what it needs. It's incredibly good mon and a good special breaker just like Zoroark. This forces Assault Vests on my opponent's team, which also means one last thing being Scarf. Oh yeah. It's also item clause in this league. So, that is incredibly valuable. The second and third mon can actually force an Assault Vest, which I love. But yes, Sylveon, my little... I'm going to name you Patches because you remind me of Ace Bandits wrapping up people with your little flesh ribbons. But going in, we have our first Terra Captain. For 100 points, we have Volcanion. So this is 50 points to be a Terra Captain. Granted, it's only base 70 speed. It still gets access to Flame Charge. Nothing realistically, unless it is a water type, wants to switch into a Steam Eruption. And if it's Quagsire or Gastrodon with Water Absorb or Vaporeon, they still have to worry about the chance of me being Terra Grass or Terra Electric or Terra Ground in case of Clodsire and just blowing it back. That is incredibly valuable. This also gets access to Will-O-Wisp, gets access to Focus Blast, gets access to Flash Cannon, Earth Power, Sludge Bomb. It's really good. Its physical offense is so good. It also gets physical offense. It gets Earthquake, Wild Charge, I believe Outrage. Gets access to Stone Edge, which is really good. Yeah, you can be physical or special 1 week, which is absolutely amazing. I look forward to using Volcanion again. Hopefully I do use it as well as I do in Pack, but we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, Volcanion is going to be a phenomenal Terra Captain, and now we are going to get into pick number 5. Donphan! I just like having Donphan. No ground types besides Great Tusk appeal to me, and Great Tusk got taken right before Sneasler by Jurassic Park. I was going to originally build around Great Tusk. Well, you know what? I'm just gonna get Donphan. Spoiler alert, Landorus Therian is still sitting there post-draft. I still could have made Grace trades to get Lando Therian instead of Donphan and then nerf down some of my points, but I didn't want to get like overly budget creeped and break some of the synergy I have, so I stuck with Donphan. A really good Rapid Spinner gets access to Counter, Sturdy, Seed Bomb, the Elemental Fangs, Ice Spinner. This thing gets more than you think it does, and that's really interesting. It also, I believe, gets Iron Defense and Body Press, which is kind of cool. Granted, I need to have a favorable matchup to do that set, but it's going to be interesting nonetheless. But Donphan, you're a good stealth rocker. We're gonna roll with it. We're gonna roll out. Next, we have Salamence, our second captain. Alright, so this is 60 points to be a Terra Captain, but with access to Intimidate and Moxie and one of the few limited mons that has dual wing beat still, it made it so tempting to make this thing a captain. This is my physical breaker, captain-wise. So this thing gets access to Dragon Dance, Tailwind, gets access to Moxie, even gets access to Hurricane, Flamethrower, Draco Meteor, gets access to Iron Head. It gets coverage for almost everything, and then Terra gives it I believe the last 4 it does not have, which is Ice, Fairy, Rock, and I believe Grass, move-wise. It gets everything else, which is really good. But Salamence, base 100 speed, and just being able to just come in and turn the tide of games is absolutely amazing. Set Tailwind for Volcanion, for Sylveon, can even... Oh, I believe it still gets access to Roost, too. So it can heal itself back up, Dragon Dance, you name it. You can run a mixed set of 3 special moves, Dragon Dance and Dual Wing... Sorry, 2 special moves, Dragon Dance and Dual Wing Beat, and just take advantage of Moxie spam, plus be a special breaker at the same time. Such a good mon. This is my first time, I believe, actually ever drafting Salamence, so hopefully I do it justice, and I look forward to using it. Next, we have Kleavor. My turn came up, and I could not decide between Kleavor and Lokix. But then I realized Sharpness really does not have a switch in. Stone Axe is free rocks, which takes a move slot off of Donphan. So now it can actually run a additional move. And base 85 speed is actually pretty good, but sharpness is just ridiculous. Like, it was 40% to a Gholdengo with Stone Axe is ridiculous, and that's a resist. That's insane. This also gets access to Defog, Acrobatics, Trailblaze, Swords Dance, Agility, Close Combat, basically all the things Scizor gets, but additional rock coverage, which is really good. That has access to Aerial Ace, which is boosted by sharpness as well, which is really cool. Fury Cutter's boosted by sharpness. I don't have the balls to try that. Agility, Fury Cutter set behind screens, but if I can do it, I will. But yeah, for 100 points, it was well worth the value. Granted, I missed the first impression tinted lens damage of Lokix, but I have learned from the past that an opponent will spam Protect every time Lokix comes in, which can be beneficial because then I can set a Swords Dance and then Sucker Punch them. But I wanted to try Kleavor this time around, even though Lokix probably would have fit the team better because I needed a dark type at this point. Next, we have Bisharp, my last Terra Captain. I'm not thrilled with Kingambit. I don't know. I just didn't like it. I used it I had it in SDA, but because I couldn't Terra, I could not get any favorable matchups for it until later on in the season. But Bisharp, I don't know why, can just perform so much better without Terra. I learned that in PWC after I picked it up. I just was abusing people. But now I have the Terra option and access to Pressure, Defiant, and Inner Focus. So with Defiant, I can run an Adrenaline Orb, boost my speed, click Swords Dance, and then Terra to remove my weakness completely with Terra Flying. Resist with Terra Grass. Now I have Stab, physical wise, for mons like Gastrodon and Quagsire that would normally wall me. Now they get blown back. This is a reliable stealth rocker, gets access to T-Wave. Sucker Punch is really good, so is Iron Head. And this even gets access to Stone Edge, so that's a lot of decent coverage for this mon. I look forward to seeing what Terra Captain Bisharp can do, and I feel like this mon fits the synergy so well because it also can be disguised as Zoroark, and my opponent can walk into Zoroark with a fighting move and do nothing. Like, imagine being a high jump kick Cinderace and launching yourself into Bisharp and it's not Bisharp, and you just crash and die. That's really good. This can pick things off once they're low with Sucker Punch. Granted, I wish this still had Rock Polish, but I'll make do with what it can do. Next, we have Arboliva. Let's get a Terrain Center and a second normal type. I really like the idea of drawing in fighting type moves. So this can also disguise as Zoroark. My opponent goes for a fighting type move. I'm immune. Well, now I'm getting off free damage. This can surprise things. Like, it's so slow that you could have a, like, say a flying type, what else would kill this? Fighting type, or just anything that wants to realistically kill this. Just get outpaced and blown back by Specs Hyper Voice from Zoroark, which is really good. This having Seed Sower and setting the terrain will win the terrain wars. It also gets access to Terrain Pulse. Say they want to reset the terrain, now Terrain Pulse becomes whatever the new one is, whether it be Misty, Psychic, or Electric Terrain. Now I have coverage. So that is also very good. This is one of the few mons that gets access to Weather Ball still. Stab Energy Ball in grassy terrain is absolutely busted. Even some resists take a chunk because it's 30% damage added on top. And Hyper Voice from this thing realistically hurts. This gets access to Earth Power, Strength Sap, and Dazzling Gleam as well, so dragons can't realistically sit in front of this. I'll take it. Granted, I'm a little bit ice weak. It is what it is at this point. And then I'm going to get into my last mon, which is going to be mostly for support, and mainly because I just wanted to try Rotom Frost. It's the little Fridge that discovered OnlyFans.com. If you know the GIF, you know what I'm talking about, and you know what it does. It should not have discovered the site. But this having access to Blizzard, Volt Switch, Thunderwave, Will-O-Wisp, access to screens for support, gets access to Trick to cripple my opponent, is phenomenally good. Granted, this is weak to Fire Rock. Neutral to Steel. What's the other one? Oh, well, it's a ground immunity at least. I believe is a ground nerf. Hey, that's one less thing I have to switch in. Granted, Rotom Frost is a little handicapped because of Blizzard, but it also allows me to run a Blunder Policy set with Nasty Plot. If I miss the Blizzard, now I'm +2 special attack, and I can just spam Thunderbolt and risk Blizzard again. But all in all, that is the team. I hope you guys like it. Let me hide this real quick. And thanks for watching. Like and subscribe if you haven't, and tell me what you think about the team down below, and see if, well, let me know if I need to make any changes. But anyways, I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.